Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to cook for you a really delicious roast beef, and not just any old roast beef but a spiced roast beef, which is one of my all-time favorites. We have this usually during Christmas or any kind of celebratory meal, and it's perfect for one of those leisurely meals you want to have on the weekend for Sunday lunch or Sunday dinner, which is what I'm doing today, and perfect served with Yorkshire puddings and roast potatoes. I will do a separate recipe for those as well so you can recreate the whole meal. This is such a perfect recipe for these winter months and anytime really. If you're a fan of roast, you'll absolutely love this, and it's so good and comforting and really easy to put together. Once you do the marinade, it's literally putting it in the oven and cooking it low and slow for a couple of hours, and then you have the most delicious roast beef. So let's get started. So we're going to begin by making our spice paste for our beef. So we'll begin with half an onion. So I've got half an onion here, which I'm going to peel and chop. And then also 4 cloves of garlic. And we're going to add all of this with the ground spices into the little chopper here and make a smooth paste. What I do to smash the garlic to remove the peel. So just take the flat of the knife and press it on top. Be careful with your hands, and with the heel of your palm, just do this. And then you can easily remove the peel. I'm going to give the onion a quick rinse. Because we're going to put this in the blender, we don't need to make it too fine, so just large chunks. That should be okay. So add your garlic and onion chunks into the blender, and we're going to whiz this until it's a smooth paste. So you've got a really nice paste of onions and garlic. I'm going to add this to this bowl. Add 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of chili flakes. I also like to add about 1.5 teaspoons of sumac to this. This adds a really nice citrusy note. And we're going to add some Kashmiri chili powder. This isn't very hot, but if you would like spicier, you can add regular chili powder. This has a really nice kind of smoky taste to it. This is why I love this. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of the Kashmiri chili powder, about 1/4 teaspoon of crushed black pepper. So that's it with our ground spices, and now we're going to add some oil to this mixture. Add 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil to this. So that's 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now we're going to give this all a very nice mix. There you go. Now let's set that aside while we prep our pan for the beef. Take a large baking tray and then add some roughly chopped onion to this. So we're going to create a trivet, which is kind of like layer made with veggies, etc. And this will help the roast not burn at the bottom, so it'll keep it nice and moist. Also going to add 4 cloves of garlic. There you go. Now set this aside. So our tray is ready for the roast beef to go on once we're ready to cook. And this is literally 1.5 large onions, half a red pepper. You don't have to add red pepper, but I just like the flavour. And a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm also going to add a bay leaf. This is giant from our tree in the back garden, so I'm just going to tear this into a couple of pieces. There you go. And now we're going to keep this aside while we marinate the meat. So the important part is the meat. So we've got 1.5 kilos of beef here. This is top side of beef. And so now what we're going to do is make little incisions into the meat itself, so the flavour really penetrates into the meat. It does look a bit scary, but don't worry, it's all easy to do. And just poke little holes all over the meat. We're going to do this side first and then flip it over and do the other side. Don't go all the way in, just a couple of centimetres in. And then make sure they're about 1 inch apart, so not all together. And then just flip over the meat and do the same on the other side. So now we're going to add the spice paste that we made onto the beef and get stuck in and massage it into the meat. So I'm just going to lay it on with a spoon and then I'll use my hand. So put half of it and now massage it into the meat. And it will also penetrate into the little holes that we made. You can see the colour looks amazing. Now flip it over. Now do the same for this side. Make sure you rub all the spice paste onto the meat. So just gather up all the spice paste and make sure it's on the meat. And now we're going to cover and marinate this for a couple of hours, but it's preferable to do this overnight if you have time. It's been a couple of hours and our beef is really nicely marinated, as you can see here. It's a beautiful colour. Now it's time to transfer this onto this. So place the beef right on top of the onions and peppers and just smother on the remainder of the spice mix. It's not even cooked, but it smells delicious already. Now make sure your oven is preheated to 160 degrees fan or 180 degrees regular. And now we're going to place this in the oven and cook this for around 2 hours, but we'll check halfway and then flip it over just to make sure it's nicely golden all over. The beef has been cooking for an hour and you can already see it's looking really good. It's got a little bit of a masala or spice crust on top. And what we're going to do now is flip it over. You don't have to, you can just kind of carry on cooking as it is, or cover with a foil if you're worried about it burning, but I like to always flip it over and then finish the cooking on the other side. If you have any of the spice paste on the tray, then just add it to the top again. Make sure everything's nicely covered. Now back to the oven again for another hour or so. If you don't want your meat fully cooked and you'd like it a little bit more medium, then I'd say cook it for another half an hour. But we like ours thoroughly cooked, so I'm going to cook it for another hour or maybe hour and 15 minutes. So I've just transferred the beef onto a platter. Doesn't it look amazing? Now we're going to cover it and let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes before we slice into it. So here it is, our spiced roast beef, meltingly tender and aromatic, and smells absolutely delicious. Can't wait to eat this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe and share, and I'll see you next time.